This is TWiT.
I feel it's a little unfair because after all, we've only had this for a day. But I think we can give you first impressions as long as you understand that the full iPhone X reviews will be coming later. Many of the iPhone X reviews you read online this week were with people, even people like Leo Patel only had it for a day. Only 4 journalists got it for a week ahead of time. Renee Ritchie got it for a day. So we're kind of in that ballpark. And I actually slammed people who review phones after 1 day of use. So I want to be very clear, this is not a review, but this is some of the things we've learned so far on the iPhone X. First of all, I guess general impressions. What do you think?
I like the size. We talked about this before. The screen is the same size. Face ID works most of the time, and it's really nice. The whole operating system is slightly different. You swipe up to open it, and then if you want to see, you swipe down to see the notification center, which is very different from the iPad, different from the other iPhones. And but I like this. Once I started trying to use my iPhone 8 again, I realized this seems to be the way that you do this. I mean, there's certain features because you use, there's no home button. That's obviously why there's a big change. And so you begin to remember the reasons you use the home button, like if you want to delete all those apps, and then you used to, you press hard on them and then the little X's and they shake, and then, you're done deleting apps.
How do you get out of that?
So then there's that little done button right up there. So, I mean, they really have thought of the way that you use the home button, and I don't miss it.
You can't, I don't either, although some other things have changed. For instance, if you don't have the home button, how do you invoke Siri with a physical touch? You do it by pressing the on-off switch. So let me look at the phone, and then press the on-off switch to invoke Siri. But then if that invokes Siri, how do you turn off the phone? Mm-hmm. So what I ended up doing was, how do I turn this phone off? And Siri will tell you. Okay. No, Siri won't tell you if you don't ask it right.
I Googled it because I also didn't know. You have to hold the left button up
Siri
or down.
Yeah, if you stop talking, I can ask Siri. This is why I hate phone, voice recognition. How do I turn the phone off? Oh, shut up, Siri. Yeah. You Googled it.
Can I tell you instead of asking Siri?
Yes, tell me, please.
You hold the left up or down button.
You hold
volume
both buttons.
At the same time. You can do up or down.
Be careful, don't hold it too long, because I held it too long and the SOS started going off. Rip, rip, and it was about to make an emergency call. Notice that's one of the choices here. Also, medical ID. And by the way, if you haven't filled that out, fill it out in the Health app. Because first responders know that I hope they'll know soon enough anyway, that if you hold both those buttons, you'll get that medical ID and they can look up your blood type, your next of kin, that kind of thing. But here's the shut to turn, slide to power off. That's at the very top. So that's one trick. Same thing with a screenshot. You press and hold both briefly and it'll do a screenshot. And by the way, that's the new feature, which you can that's an iOS 11 feature. You can edit the screenshot. It shows it there for a while. Let me talk about Face ID a little bit, though. In fact, I want to show you how you do Face ID.
Okay.
One of the things you can do with Face ID is require attention. Did you turn that on or not?
Yes.
So that means you have to actually be looking at it. That makes it a little bit more secure, but it also means you have to physically look at it, and then it will unlock. It will unlock. She's being really recalcitrant right now.
Yes.
It will let's do it again. What? It's not unlocking. So that's another thing I noticed. So if it doesn't unlock, you can, and I'm going to change my code so you can show my code. You can swipe up and then enter your passcode, and it will unlock. But here's what I think I noticed. I'm guessing on this. The first time I did it without my glasses, because I trained it with my glasses, it didn't recognize me. So it asked for the passcode. I entered the passcode. The next time it did. The first time I did it with headphones on during the radio show, it didn't recognize me, so I entered the passcode. And then it seems to have done better. Same thing with studio lighting. So I think what's happening, and Apple did say it gets better in time, I think what's happening, see, it learned now, is that once you try it and authenticate, it will say, oh, I get it, that's the new look, or that's the change, or whatever. By the way, one more feature, let me show you again. When you do this and you unlock it, see, I'm looking at it. Now, it doesn't automatically go to the home screen. You have to swipe up after you unlock it to get to the home screen. You get used to that. In fact, you get used to it so much that you don't even really think about unlocking it, right? It's just unlocked when you
you don't have to wait, really.
You don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the swipe up is a natural thing.
So requiring attention is default turned on.
It is, but you can't turn it off.
I just turned it off because why? I mean, I don't think anyone's going to be holding me down and I'm going to be looking away.
That's what it is to protect you. That's what it is to protect you.
I mean,
and I would guess it's a little easier without it. Should we train it? You want me to do a little?
Yeah, train it.
Yeah, I can't remember what I'll have to do to train it.
You go to the settings, then you go to Face ID and passcodes.
Okay, so let's go to Face ID and passcode. There it is, right there. You have to enter your passcode.
Okay, now everyone saw your passcode.
No, I know, and I said I'm going to redo this. And these are the settings, which are very useful. iPhone Unlock, Apple Pay. What are you going to use it for? This is the thing you were talking about, Megan. Require attention.
I turned that off. You
if
leave
you
it
turn
on,
that off,
I might hold you down later on with
right.
your phone.
Attention aware features. True depth will check for attention before dimming the display or lowering the volume of alerts. Isn't that kind of interesting? But let's reset the Face ID so that we can do it again. Okay, is that it? Set up Face ID. So watch this. Now you're going to have to shoot over my shoulder, Jerry. So it's actually even easier than training the fingerprint. You press the button, and now it's got a picture of me. And you see this circle? I need to tilt the phone, or I'm sorry, tilt my face to fill up the circle.
It's good neck exercises as well if you keep doing it.
It seems
follow the arrow. You got some circle to fill in over there. Yeah.
There. Now once it's filled in, it's done. Now you do this twice. It's actually, once you figure out, you go left, you go right, you go up, you go down. It's actually pretty easy to fill in the circle. And once you've done that, it's set up.
That's all that there is.
It's pretty easy. And then it continues to learn, which I've now untaught it. So I'm just curious, if I go here, will it recognize me? Yeah, it does, because I trained it in this environment. Now, by the way, this works. I tried it in the middle of the night when the lights are off. It works because it's, well, show this video, right? You did this, right? In
the dark.
It will show, so this is you in the dark setting it up?
Yeah, so that's what is shooting at your face.
So you see the dots, that's doing a face map. This is slowed down, obviously.
No, that's actually how slow I did it.
Yeah. Did you have to have your eyes so wide?
Yeah. It's just I'm going to use this for my sci-fi movie.
It has an infrared camera, which you don't see. It's invisible light. But the camera and the infrared light can see each other. And the dots are infrared as well. You don't see those. So that's why it works at night. It works in the dark. I tried it at the Bruno Mars concert last night. It worked. I was like blown away.
You know how else it works? On my twins.
Okay. Now, Apple did warn at the event. They said, there is 1 in a million chance that somebody will be able to unlock your phone using your face, with one exception, identical twins. And you just happen to have a pair.
I just happen to have a pair of identical twins.
Yeah.
And one of them who's not here put his face in it, and he has long hair, he has a bit of a mustache, and then his twin brother, who has short hair and is clean shaven, he can open.
Come here,
too.
Huck. Let's you're Huck or you're Milo? Okay.
So you can't tell them apart, and you've known them since before they were born.
Mom can. I know. I've actually held these babies in my arms. You and Milo were crying your eyes out, and Jennifer and I were trying, go to sleep, while your mom and dad were out partying.
That's true.
I'll never forget that. Yeah. So anyway, let's see the video because.
Okay. Do you have that, or it's? Yeah. There we go. So there's Milo's hair, and he tested it. It opens for him.
So that's Milo.
Yep.
And then now, Huck, you're going to try this. Now, so it was registered to Milo. Is that right?
Yes, it was registered to Milo's face.
Okay.
And then
Twitter's down. Some rogue employee. So Milo is unlocking. He has the long hair. And it unlocked. So it's trained to Milo. Now, Huck, you've got a very different hairstyle, different facial, but your facial features are the same.
Yeah.
Oh, boom. Right away unlocked it.
But it makes sense because you wouldn't want to grow long hair.
Yeah, but you're screwed, man. You can't use this phone.
Yeah. Well, he first of all, he's 12, so I'm not going to buy him a $1,000 phone.
Wait a minute, you're not 12. He's like taller than me.
He's 12.
All right.
And
or
it's
so
not
he
supposed,
says.
You held them when they were babies.
Oh yeah,
remember?
that was 12 years ago. Okay.
And they also, you're not supposed to use it with kids under 13.
Yeah, but he's still gonna. Next year you're screwed. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're gonna have an iPhone 8 for the rest of your life. Sorry about that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Huck.
So that is. So if you're an identical twin, you are kind of left out. There's another thing that I miss. With the fingerprint ID, you could have somebody else train their fingerprint. So I let Lisa train her fingerprint so she could unlock my phone when she needed to use it or whatever. You can't do that. One person and one person only with the Face ID. So that's kind of a limitation, right?
Why do you
Although
think
you
they
could
do
give
that?
the other person your 6-digit code.
Right.
And that's the other thing. You will be entering that code maybe more often than you used to, just because the Face ID and so forth needs to, sometimes doesn't work or whatever. But I found this actually works every bit as well as I had hoped. I don't really miss the home button, but I've used phones for years like this Galaxy Note 8 that doesn't have a physical home button on it, right? It's all screen. So that's not the end of the world. What do you think of the screen now? Let's talk about this. This is Apple's first time using an OLED screen. You like it?
I love it. I mean, I can even compare it to the iPhone 8, and you can just tell that how much brighter it is.
It's not merely brighter. It's really. It feels like it's painted on. It really is crisp and solid and clear. The colors are vivid, but not too vivid. One of the things you could do is compare this to, for instance, the next best screen out there, I think, which is the Note 8 screen. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the same icon.
Do you want to see it on the iPhone 8 too?
No, but I'm going to show you the same icon, unless you have Authy installed. Do you have Authy installed? So those reds are somewhat different. The top red is the Samsung OLED. I think it's a little like pinker and brighter. I think the red on the iPhone is actually more accurate. And I think that's what you're going to find. If you just use a Samsung phone or any OLED screen by itself, it's bright, it's powerful, it's punchy. You don't really know if the colors are 100% accurate or not. But I have to say, I think the colors, and I know Apple's calibrated this. It's calibrated to the P3 spec, which is a very wide color gamut. I think the colors are more accurate. I think that it's a vivid screen and it's a very solid screen. This is, until I got it, I thought the Note 8 was the best OLED out there. I think this is a better OLED. And this is, by the way, made by Samsung, same company, but to Apple's specifications. So it's smaller in the hand. You like that? I like it too. I mean, I have bigger hands than you, but it doesn't bother me. I kind of like a smaller phone.
I like
Fits
it.
in your pocket very easily. Let me, like that. You probably don't keep your phone there.
No, I don't.
You'll want to keep a case on it because it's very expensive to repair. What other things are new? I talked to a blind user, and I was curious. He's got an iPhone 8, and I said, well, how well is that going to work with these new features? He says, you know what? They have figured out gestures to make it as easy. And he said, I feel very confident that blind users will be very comfortable with this new user interface. There's a whole bunch of new gestures, and we're going to talk about this on iOS today. It's going to be one of my tips. We're going to do an iPhone 10 rundown on iOS today. But there's a new feature in the settings that is Assistive Touch. It's kind of interesting. You have to go into General and Accessibility, and you'll see there's a new entry here, Touch Accommodations, that have a number of features having to do with the touch. Actually, that's not... oh, there it is, Assistive Touch. There's some really interesting things they're doing now with touch, including the ability to create a new gesture. So if I wanted to, I could create a gesture that I could then tie to a feature. So I like this idea. So this is a custom gesture. Custom gestures allow you to record gestures that can be activated from custom in the menu.
So that's in iOS 11, or that's just on the iPhone 10?
Well, some of this is very specific to the iPhone 10. Single tap, double tap, long press, 3D touch. I feel like there are some things you need because there's no more home button, no more physical button. For instance, on the iPhone 8, you triple tap the home button to turn on the voiceover. Voiceover.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, but there's no home button to triple tap here, but they now have some assistive touches that allow you to do that. I feel like they've got some very good features in here that, and of course I'm not blind, so I'm not a good judge of this, but having talked to somebody who is vision impaired, he said, no, I went in and I set this up. I had some help from the Apple employees. I feel like this is every bit as easy to use. That's good news for blind users.
Yeah, and again, we just got these 24 hours ago.
Brand new for us.
I know with Touch ID, sometimes it worked really well in the beginning, and then it started to work badly. So maybe the Face ID will start working
There may be decay, although I'm encouraged by the fact that it did kind of learn new ambient issues and compensate for them over time. Great great screen, great feel. This is you got the silver one, I got the silver one. You have a red case on yours because you like
rose gold.
Rose gold. But it does remind one on the side there of the original iPhone, the way it's curved here. This is not really silver, it's a white back. The silver is the chroming on the edge, and I think that's quite nice. The camera, of course, is very similar to the iPhone 8 camera, except they have optical image stabilization and the telephoto now, and it's a little bit wider, so it does a little bit better in low light. I've been very happy with the performance. Because it has that notch with the sensors in the front, you can do some interesting things. We saw the Animoji, an animated poop, which introduced the show. I think probably the best, most appropriate introduction ever. You want me to do one of these for you here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do an Animoji.
There's also Emoji Karaoke, which has been sweeping the nation.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
You haven't? Oh, my goodness.
Let me be
Harry McCracken started that.
Let me be a unicorn. Okay. And I guess what I could do is I could sing along. So notice as I turn my head, the unicorn turns. Can you get the shot over the shoulder a little tighter? Yeah. As I tilt my head up, it goes up. As I tilt my head down, left, right. And when you talk, the lip sync is very good. Hey, I'm talking here. We're going to go home and I'm going to make waffles. And that kind of thing. You record it, you can save it, send it via iMessages, but you can also save it as a movie, which you could share with somebody. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you can't send, you have to save it if you want to send it to someone on Android.
What? I didn't hear you. I hear you talk.
If you want to send it to someone on Android, you have to save it.
Yes, but it saves as a movie, which is fine, and you can send it via MMS. Oh, look at this. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That is the most silly, trivial use of some very sophisticated face recognition technology. But you can also use it in the camera, and that's kind of cool. So you now have, in selfies, those portrait features that you had in the back of the camera previously. So, for instance, and in fact, I think it probably works a little bit better. Let's do the stage light. And it's now taking the background out of that shot. And I think it does maybe even a little bit better job because it has the dot projector in the face recognition. That's not a great picture, but you get the idea. I'm looking for flaws. I'm looking for defects. As far as I can tell, there's only 2 flaws. One is, of course, no headphone jack. Sorry, Apple, that's not courage, that's dopey. But, okay, I get it. The other is, it's a lot of money. $1,000 for the base model. We both bought the 256 gigabyte model. $1,149 plus tax. That is the most expensive phone I've ever bought. And I hate to say it, but I think it might be worth it.